What is up, and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at some Bitcoin mining stocks. Jumping into fear and greed, we can see that we are still in fear territory for stocks and crypto, but what I do like seeing is that we have made a floor and are now making a series of higher lows, higher highs, as I've talked about many times before on this channel. As far as this crypto cycle is concerned, when we have had extreme fear, they have been very close to some of those bottoms. However, do keep in mind that in February of this year, when we got extreme fear, as well as June of 22, those were leading indicators, and it did happen before we made a further low. So if that does happen, that would most likely be a local bottom. As far as seasonality or an almanac perspective is concerned, of course, we know November is negative, and this year for crypto has been the most flat. Now, the Fed has ended quantitative tightening, so they are going to be starting up quantitative easing, talking about possibly doing more stimulus checks next year. So with some looser monetary policies coming back, that could be very good for crypto assets. And as I've spoken about many times on this channel, I do not believe that crypto is following a four-year cycle like everyone thinks it does. We see Bitcoin falling within this log regression, which stretches the price action over the x-axis. That's why it flattens out, and we see diminished returns over time. So something to keep in mind is that crypto doesn't have to follow this specific pattern. We can even see that all these tops that have happened since each halving, that these are spread out, and so far this cycle is being stretched. Last cycle, it did technically make its high just before the most recent halving. So with that being said, it would not be surprising to see this cycle high maybe come out a little bit further than what we typically see. Now, I do talk about other crypto assets on this channel, so if you have any requests for any altcoins whatsoever, let me know in the comments below. I'll try to do a YouTube short for those sometime in the near future. Anyways, we'll get into all these Bitcoin mining stocks, see how their structure is holding up with the overall crypto market. As far as that's concerned, you see Bitcoin holding up its 1, 2, 3, 6 fib extension, as well as the 100-week moving average. If we go over to the daily, we can see, yes, we have made a higher low, but right now we have a doji. So the first time that Bitcoin challenged this red line, this is the 20-day moving average. It got rejected quite hard, but we did have this nice support wick. Now we have a doji. A doji candle does mean undecided, so Bitcoin's deciding whether or not it wants to break up and through or come back down. I think if Bitcoin can get up to maybe roughly above 98, 99K, then the true test begins of whether or not we can break through this barrier. This is where the bull market support band is on the weekly, where we could see a potential head and shoulders top. If Bitcoin can then get over 107K, I think we could resume the bull market, but we have a lot of levels to test on our way there. So do keep an eye out for that. Anyways, let's get into our Bitcoin miners, and the first one we'll take a look at is Iron. Now, Iron has been the number one Bitcoin mining stock this cycle so far, and as you can see, let's zoom out here. We did hit this most recent high, have a 236 pullback, and right now Iron is sitting nicely on its 1618. So the way I draw these out, I have this fib retracement, draw it high to low, and then take it off log so you can see your fib extensions. This is where the 1618 is, and then I have a micro fib as well, which I have drawn from low to high to see where those different discount levels are. So what's cool about these fibs is you see how we hit those levels perfectly, the 100-day moving average, this 236 pullback, and now we are resting on the 1618. Now, we are being squeezed right here, so Iron has some decisions to make on whether or not it's going to break down lower, and if it does, it could fall quite a bit. So, it depends how you feel about Iron as far as If you believe it has more upside, this could be a buy to the dip opportunity. Or if you do believe that it is way overbought, then you would definitely be more cautious about that. You see the weekly is forming a base. Of course, this is played out a weekly sell signal right here. You see that red box. And the trend, when we see these trends bottom out, that can be a good sign, but we want to see signs of reversals. So some things I look for is a few different indicators. The stochastic, it hasn't bottomed out quite yet. We want to see it bottom out and start to come up. But as you notice back here, if we don't get into the shaded area, we can see it drop off further. So the stochastic is not out of the woods yet. We'll also take a look at the RSI. This one shows that it is decently sold off, but it's not oversold by any stretch of the imagination. Last time it was very oversold. It came down here to that price of $5 from $15. So that was a 2/3 drop. That would suck to see for iron. But overall, if it can form a base here, that is a higher low, and that's not bad as far as the RSI is concerned. And I also like taking a look at the MACD. Now, the MACD did just turn negative, and we did just get this red box printed. However, I will have you know that even with that being said, let's zoom in on one of these MACDs over here. Even if we go through something like this, where watch the moving averages, if they're able to stay on the positive end and then flip up again, where we get the green boxes or the light red to the green, and then have a positive crossover, that would be a good sign. So even though this is scary right here for the MACD, by the time it starts coming up, if this moving average stays in positive territory, and this goes for all the mining stocks that we're going to talk about today, if the momentum stays positive and we get that flip and we see iron holding good support, whether here or here, then I think that could be a good, decent buy the dip opportunity. But the thing is, we don't have confirmation yet. We have a little bit of a pullback, and depending on your dollar cost average strategy, this might be an area where you look, but we don't have confirmation yet. So I would be more concerned about a further drop, because by the time we get the confirmation, I talked about this before from that one MACD drop, or the stochastic RSI drop, back here, we did see it drop 2/3. So if we see iron come down to $29, and you believe there is more positivity left for crypto in 2026, to me, that would be a can't miss buy the dip opportunity for iron. All right, let's get through some of these other ones. We'll go a little bit quicker, won't do as much in-depth analysis on all of them, because a lot of these miner stocks do have similar charts, as you see with this one. Cypher on the weekly, you see it hit its 1618 and a nice little bounce here. So, already what I'm noticing with iron and Cypher, these are showing some good strength. And I've talked about this before, how mining stocks follow Bitcoin and can even be a really good leading indicator for Bitcoin. So if miners are still holding up pretty well, it's not so bad. Now, if you believe that this cycle's over and crypto is just going to drop a lot lower, then this could be a relief rally that you might consider taking some profits. Maybe you didn't sell and take profits here at the 1618, and you believe the cycle's over. You're a 4-year cyclist. I'm not going to tell you what to think or what to do, but if that's what you believe and you're like, dang it, I didn't sell, this could be a relief rally where you might consider selling and taking some profits. So you're not getting the absolute top, but you're getting close to it. But overall, we want to see, you see iron running into a little bit of a ceiling right here, a lot of price structure horizontally. So if iron can't get above this level, we'll probably see it revisit this 100-day moving average. But overall, iron doing a decent job right now. Let's keep on. Let's keep on the MACD for some of these mining stocks. On the daily, that looks pretty good. We're getting back into positive territory. Excuse me. My goodness, we are here in December, that's for sure. And as far as the MACD on the weekly, not looking so bad either. So this to me is showing some level of strength. All right, let's get into the next one. We'll take a look at TeraWolf. And as far as Wolf is concerned, we've been talking about the 786 as well as the upper area of the channel, and some strength is coming back to it. So a little bit different than Iron. Cypher and Wolf are showing, that maybe will challenge some of those cycle highs and maybe even push further. So, not going to lie, I'm a little bit surprised to see some of this. And that might be giving us a signal that maybe Bitcoin is going to have a decent relief rally and it's not as over and finished as some people might be thinking. So it's curious to see similar charting for Wolf and Cypher. Again, if you were hoping to take profits and you missed out, you might get that chance or close to that chance. I'm not telling you to sell everything. You can miss another pump, but whatever your strategy is, if you did miss out on a great opportunity back here, you still have a chance to take some level of profits. However, this is good strength coming back in for Wolf, but you can see that MACD, it is very much in positive territory, and it depends. How much are you willing to risk or ride this thing up? So I believe there's more to go as far as this crypto cycle, but I guess, we all have different theories and strategies as far as when it comes to our crypto outlook, so keep that in mind. Let's go over to Riot. Now, Riot this cycle for a long time was the number 2 overall Bitcoin mining stock. And you can see it did have this sell-off from that 618 at around 23 bucks. Hit these moving averages, the 200, the 100, the 50, had good support. And now it's holding resistance at the 0.5 fib and the 20 moving average. We also see a negative MACD here, no positive momentum yet. However, if this starts to flip positive, that could be the sign that it needs to go to the upside. So what I want to do here, kind of like I showed you guys on Iron, if we draw a Fibonacci and do sort of a micro fib short time frame, we can see that, right here, it had a 0.5 pullback, and now it's getting that strength. So it had a 0.5 pullback to the micro fib. The macro fib, it is at the 0.5, the 100, the 20, a lot of resistances with the moving average and the fib. So I think getting through this level here, pretty much where it's at right now, 15 to roughly 17 bucks. If it can get through here, that's very bullish for Riot. And this thing, you can see on the daily, it can continue to the upside. However, that momentum is negative right now. The momentum on the daily has been reset. So do keep an eye out for that. As far as Riot, it's right there at decision time, whether or not this one's going to have some strength coming back soon. All right, let's get into cores. And cores, it was in all-time high territory, having a little bit of a pullback. Just underneath the all-time highs. Came down to its 786. And now it has a doji. It looks like the weekly is just sitting above that 20-week moving average. The doji is right at the 888. You do see that negative MACD on the weekly. Those things can get even more negative. On the daily, we are getting a positive cross. However, remember, the momentum is on the negative side. And overall, we do see these lower highs and lower lows. So I would be concerned about this. Watch what happens with this daily move. If it isn't able to get above, I think, this 50-day moving average, we might be in for some more downside. And you would want to see, if you're a core scientific truther, you'd want to see it hold up here at around 14.5. Otherwise, it's probably coming back down to that golden pocket. All right, next, let's go to Marathon Digital Holdings. As far as this crypto cycle is concerned, Mara has been the number 1 mining stock for the longest time. And then it started to get passed up by all this AI narrative. So Mara, you can see on the daily, we are having a positive MACD flip. Now, everything I said about the MACD with cores, apply that to Mara right now. And it's very detached from these moving averages. Just look at that fall. Ever since it broke down, this thing came down 50%. So crazy. And if you like Mara, you do have this 382 fib, the lower the channel. To me, this is, if you like Mara for any reason whatsoever long term, this is a can't miss opportunity, in my opinion. But it's got to hold the 382. And this positive move up Let's see what it does at the 20-day moving average. Similar to what I said about Bitcoin. Remember, these mining stocks in Bitcoin move very similar to each other. You guys can see right here where these peaks are. So that is one reason I believe this cycle still has plenty of room to go, is that Bitcoin has not topped yet, I believe, as far as this cycle is concerned. But we are in for some chop. Now, going over to the weekly, that's a pretty negative MACD. Now, you see the direction. Watch the moving averages. See these lower highs, lower lows. Now, even though this sucks to look at, what I will say is that as far as these momentums are concerned, for these moving averages on the MACD, I'd say this might be getting pretty close to resetting. So we might be due for another low. And by that time, who knows? Maybe Mara could come down to around $6-7. I know that would suck, but if you're a fan of these mining stocks, you're looking to get in at these discounted prices. So do keep an eye on that. We don't have confirmation. The momentum is negative. I like Mara. I'll be fully transparent with you guys. I bought a little bit of Mara yesterday. I like the level that it was at. However, I do recognize it could come down further. And if Mara did get down to this level, I would be buying more. That's how much I like this mining stock. I think it has a lot that's worth looking into. Now, you can see the 0.5 on this fib, that held up as well. So I think that was Riot we talked about, had that 0.5 micro retracement. If it did come down further, look at all those fibs. We have the golden pocket down here as well in the $7 range. So something to consider as well. Now, when these mining stocks or any stock or crypto, when it gets bearish, I know it can be disheartening, but guys, when it's something I really like and have done my research on, I get excited because I am buying at a great discount and I believe in it. So, not telling you what to do, but I'm just saying it's getting into that Kohl's discount 70% off territory for me. Let's do CleanSpark, and then we'll finish with our 3 low caps, Bitfarms, Hive, and Bit Digital. Let's finish with those 4 right here. So CleanSpark first. As far as this one goes, kind of reminds me a little bit of the Cypher and Iron a little bit. Their charts, how it's getting a little bit of a relief bounce. You see the MACD, it is in positive territory. So, this thing, I do wonder, do we have a buy signal here? Let's take a look at that. We do have a weekly buy signal. So that is something to keep an eye on for CleanSpark. And now it did have this massive pullback. As you can see, let's measure this out. From that high, it had a 60% pullback. So as far as these moves are concerned, you want to watch how much they're doing a retrace. And so, you can go high to low, low to high. Yeah, you can see there almost a full 236 retrace down there from high to low, or 786 if you flip it. But yeah, 786 right down here, which is right at the 0.5 fib. So yeah, overall, it's right at these moving averages, and the golden pocket area does look like, we've had a positive move. It's going to settle into a little bit of a base here. But what you don't want to see is just create a series of lower highs and watch this thing come down. Let's add on the MACD again. So yeah, the daily MACD, nice and positive. However, the momentum is negative, so you do have to worry about this, the momentum being reset. Same here. We have a lower high, so if the momentum even comes back up, we want to see it eclipse this area right here. All right, let's go to Bitfarms, Bit Digital, and Hive. And so Bitfarms in positive MACD territory. You can see overall this momentum is positive, no two ways about it, but we did have that negative MACD cross. So let's see, maybe price can hold up at that golden pocket, the 618 to the 65, had a nice bounce right here in the golden pocket. So if it is able to get or keep support at the 50, that would be a good thing. You can see it's running into this this top that we had right here, Could you say it's head and shoulders? Maybe. If it isn't able to eclipse this 354 area, I would definitely be worried about Bitfarms coming back down to a price of about $1.30. So, yeah, guys, if you like these mining stocks before when they were down here and you're waiting for some of those discount prices, some of I'll say short-term price action has me a little cautious still, even though there's we knew a relief rally where it was going to come in, but I am still a little bit cautious. I need a little bit more confirmation that the bottom is truly in. The indicators aren't showing that yet. Now, as far as Bit Digital, on the daily, very negative right now. We're probably going to hit some resistance at that 382. We have all these moving averages, the 50, 200, 100. But watch what happens here at the 382 and the 20-day moving average. May hit some resistance there and come back down. That daily MACD is very negative. As far as the weekly, don't love seeing that either. That's getting into negative territory too. The weekly, to me, looks like it wants to come down and hit this $1.90 territory, maybe even a little lower, 170. So let's see what happens there. And as far as Hive is concerned, Hive, yeah, negative again. However, I'm just looking at this momentum here. Does look like a overall positive momentum. So if we are to get somewhat of a turnaround here and hold support, this could be a local bottom area where you could get in, and hopefully if this momentum stays positive, we could see Hive pop up even further. So all depends what the crypto market's going to do. Something I've been looking at a little bit more is just charts like this. When we do get these big pullbacks, the next month sometimes not so great as well. You can see this was in 2022. December wasn't so great, but then January, strength came in quite a bit. Even 2019, I made a lot of comparisons with monetary policy and what Bitcoin was doing back then too. 2019, very negative. November, December, not so great. And then look at that, January, very good as well. And then, yeah, we got more pullbacks there too. But then, we were off to the races. So I've been making a lot of 2019 comparisons. And if so, maybe we're in store for something like this. COVID pullback notwithstanding. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. My opinion, I'm just going to go back to what I've been saying for a long time as a market psychologist. If you loved an asset here, why would you not love it even more here? Now, you do it overall. Have to take a look at the overall market and make sure that things are trending in the right direction, or you're getting some confirmation or base. We don't have those levels yet. However, one of the things that I think is kind of hard to ignore is just Bitcoin and the moving average. As far as this 100-week moving average, anytime we've been at it or below it, those have been really good times to buy. Yes, it can go lower, especially if the MACD momentum is flipped in negative. Okay, so I'm not saying you have to buy in now, but if we do get lower, especially towards the 200, I'd say that is absolute can't miss opportunity discounts right there. And right here, I'd say, highly consider, should we get some positive structure or forming a base, you might want to consider, as far as even a dollar cost average strategy, to be taking a look at some of these discount opportunities if you believe in Bitcoin and crypto for the long term. So that's all I'm saying. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all are having a fantastic Tuesday and a wonderful rest of your week. Take care.